See what I'm doing on the spreadsheet right here? How this says the Southwest was at 11.4 M, and then over here, Southwest is 11,364,100. Most people, when they try to do this, are just going to write it out longhand. But the problem is, of course, that if you have a bunch of these values and they're constantly being recalculated, let's go ahead and hit recalculate. Boom. We want this to be able to be dynamic. So how do I make that happen? How do I make this 10.9 M dynamically show up like this as opposed to writing it out longhand and having it be static? My name is Neil Malik from Knack Training, and in today's Everyday Office, I'm going to show you how to use the text function in Microsoft Excel to create a dynamic label for your charts or whatever else you happen to be doing. So item number one, as you can see here, I've got a function that pulls out the fact that the highest value is the southeastern region, and the southeastern region here is $11.8 million. But it is definitely not formatted like that. You can see it's got commas and periods and all sorts of stuff in here. So when you decide that you want to create a label like this one down here, you're going to do this with a function. And the first part of the function is this reference to cell A14. So you can see here I'm referencing southeast, and then an ampersand, and after the quotation marks here, was the highest in Q4 at, and then an ampersand. So I'm trying to figure out how to say the Southwest region was the highest in Q4 at, and then right there say that it was $11.8 million or whatever the case may be. See that right there? It's the text function, T-E-X-T. And the text function works like this. If you had a date like 11/4/18, and then you wanted to just show, let's say, for example, the day of the week, you could do =, T-E-X-T, and you'd reference 11/4/2018. But right after the reference to 11/4/2018, we have a comma here, and it says, how would you like to format the text? And all you need to know is that for dates, dates are formatted with M's, D's, and Y's for months, days, and years. And for dollar values, we have zeros and pound signs. So here, if I wanted the full day of the week, I'd type in quotation marks, DD, DD. 4 Ds represents the fully written out day of the week. And so when I hit enter, as you can see, it says 11/4/2018 is a Sunday. So in the exact same way, I should be able to take this $11.9 million that's up here and represent this in a different way. And so we go =, T-E-X-T. And we reference the $11.9 million, and then we put in a comma. And now what you're going to use is some way of representing that you need a dollar sign. Maybe you need a space between the dollar sign and the number. Maybe you don't. And then when we want the number, what we want is the millions positions and the hundred thousands positions, not the ones, the tens, the hundreds, the thousands, they're the 10,000s. So the way we do that is quotation marks, and any position you want to see, you type in a 0 for that position. So I want to show this as 0.0, right? I want 11.9. But it's not just going to be 0.0 because that would be the ones position. So I now put in 2 commas right there. By putting in 2 commas, I'm saying, hey, you know everything that leads up to the first comma, the ones, the tens, and the hundreds positions? Don't show any of those things. And you know all those things that happen between the first comma and the second comma? Don't show any of those things either. And then I close off the quotation marks and close off the parentheses. Now, I could put the M into the text function, but it's just as easy to do a little ampersand, quotation marks, space M, close quotation marks like that. So you take your 11.9 or your 9.8 or whatever the case may be, you hit enter, and it spits out 11.9 M, just like that. So you can see there that you can include that as part of a larger function where you're appending on the text of what region you're talking about, of what quarter you're talking about, the millions position, or anything else, but we feed in that representation using the text function.